Greetings, Rigil Agateides here, and last week we got onto the Barzam, the surprisingly loved scrub machine that's very much held back by its detrimental flaws. I know it looks good, but still, there was a lot more enthusiasm in the comments than I thought, so this week we'll give it a power up by fusing it with an Asshimar. And the result is a raid type like no other. This is the 550 cost Mushika, this time in a 600 cost match at level 2. Quite literally a Barzam with Asshimar parts put on its back. The Mushika looks just like a normal Barzam, but after going through a gym workout frenzy. And that's exactly what it is, a Super Barzam on steroids. Faster, tougher, stronger, but it doesn't just end there. With this upgrade, the Mushika gets what the Barzam needed direly, the ability to put out staggers. But perhaps a bit too much steroids, because what the Mushika is dishing out now are strong staggers like no other. After charging, the Mushika beam rifle shot turns into a strong stagger that doesn't overheat. Unlimited strong staggers every 10 seconds, there's nothing the Mushika can't stop. That includes your teammates, so try not to end up like me. Or him. We'll drop an apology after finishing up the Zeta Gundam, got to keep them good manners. Despite being a bit of a friendship destroyer, this beam rifle alone is enough to make the Asshimar doped Barzam a 600 cost worthy suit. Takes a moderate amount of time to charge, but the return you get is incredible. Not only is it a strong stagger that guarantees to put a stop to anyone, but it also comes with a piercing effect, and ignores shields. Reminder once again, teammates included. As long as you don't hit a wall or a thin funnel barrier, you're guaranteed to get something, if not everything, out of the charged beam shot, since even shields can't get in your way. Just seriously, be careful not to hit your teammates, or you'll be put on the Nuremberg trials. Back to our strong stagger business. The Mushika may have an Asshimar added to it, but the way it fights is pretty much the same as the original Barzam, grinding out the enemy at range. Of course, you start by charging the beam rifle for a strong stagger. Then when they're put on their knees, you can swap to the rapid fire mode and start blasting. Same range as the single fire, but fires 2 shots quickly every trigger pull for 20% stagger per hit. Decent enough accumulation, but what you're using it for is the raw damage. Dump 8 of these shots at once, and they'll just not overheat while doing more than 5,000 damage in total. And by the time you're finished with that, the single shot mode would have cooled down, and you repeat the cycle again. Significant damage even on general types, all you have to do is keep blasting. Speaking of which, what we just hit was the new suit of the week, the Engage Zero Young... no idea. With no maneuver armor until its cycle field trigger at 50% health, it's like the Overon, but reversed. Or in other words, better. With 3 sets of funnels each, facing 3 of them isn't fun, so I hope it's not that popular. Speaking of which, there's the Overon, downed. I don't think he enjoyed our strong stagger much. Quick downstab in him before the fast can interrupt, but there's simply too many enemies here. Oh, that's not a pretty move. The Overon's terrible choice to knock down 2 teammates lets us live by triggering auxiliary power, and we get a free extra hit on their fast. First respawn after 3 minutes, that's a decent run. And with this, let's talk about the Mushika itself. Not only is it powered up by putting on parts of an Asshimar, but it also got buffed in the most recent patch. Not sure why when it's already this good. Most of it is on the level 2 suit, and that's exactly what we're on right now. Movement speed is increased from 125 to 130, so it's not as clunky as before, but you mostly use thrusters to move around, so that's a trivial change. Then there's a slight increase to the damage on the beam rifle single shot and the Vulcans, but the real significant change is the increase to the custom parts. 4 extra slots isn't a small change. With this, the level 2 Mushika can fit neatly 4,600 extra base health, almost maximum thrusters, and a bunch of range attack on top. With this, the Mushika is a rather tough nut. 24,000 base health in total with average defense. But all the extra Asshimar parts also come with special buffers acting like a turtle shell on its back. This makes the Mushika a seriously hard raid type to crack. Add in the skill Auxiliary Power, which makes the suit refuse to die with the sheer will to live, or the desire for vengeance depending on who you are, when taking lethal damage from more than 1000 health, and the Mushika is landing more strong staggers than you think. Got to love hitting strong staggers on flying suits. Anyone hit with the beam drops straight down without fuss. While the Mushika is originally a 550 suit, it just feels like 600 is the better place to use it, with the ability to mass produce strong staggers, and in fact the only raid type at 600 that can do so. The land of transformation suits just sounds like home to this Barzam on steroids. Also definitely not because I don't have the level 1. We know that the Oberon doesn't have maneuver armor after triggering the Grimoire, so we just need an uncharged shot which comes with an instant stagger. Thought about what will happen if we give that to the Barzam, but that might just be a bit too broken. We have enough people upstairs, so we headed down and to the right. Getting the right-handed shot is equally important on this suit as on the Barzam, as you don't want to get staggered on your charged shot. Followed up with a down attack, I did not expect that to hit our teammates. This sliding down attack motion is good with a very long reach. Just bear in mind not to dive into risky situations where you can do as much by pulling out your giant Barzam beam rifle. Held down on the Vulcan pod, which is just the same as the one on the Barzam. Not a lot of stagger, but definitely a lot of ammo as we sweep for a double kill. Then as always, we give ourselves the right hand shot. With this large hitbox, chances are you're not making it if you're trying to shoot an enemy with your huge left half exposed, made worse by the fact that your beam rifle is mounted on the right side of your right arm. Force your way through with maneuver armor and you can get into much better positions, a privilege the original Barzam doesn't get. Keep going to the right, we can hit that yon whatever from this designated sniper spot outside the ring of death, but it's indeed a bit hard to hit from this far. It's always easier when you're hitting your teammates. Perhaps it's this difficulty in hitting the beam rifle that got the Mushika its buffs. It's hard enough for me on keyboard, imagine doing that on console. We fail our jump back into the ring and the game just ends without this. That was the Asshimar-powered Barzam, the Mushika. Quite literally a Barzam on steroids, it not only keeps the Barzam look, but it also fights just like the original Barzam, except a lot stronger. With the ability to mass produce strong staggers, as long as you hit your shots, there's nothing you can't stop. Especially effective at 600 cost against anything that flies. That's it from me today. Have fun shooting down all these transforming suits and the latest